Story time about how my ex broke into my apartment and trashed my entire apartment and ruined every single thing that I owned. Disclaimer, this is not my story time. I was sending me on Instagram. I'm not gonna lie, my relationship with my ex is terribly toxic. We actually met each other on a dating app, I know. He was absolutely charming on the first date. Second date, not so much. And third date, he was absolutely awful. But I just started falling in love with him, like literally from the moment I met him. I had it in my head that I was gonna make him a good boyfriend. Like, me? I seriously, honestly thought that he would change and just become a better guy. He quickly wanted to be exclusive, but did not want to call me his girlfriend. Oh, and he would get jealous about every little single thing. If I wanted to go out with friends, he would get upset. If I didn't answer my phone or text him right away, he would get upset. Mind you, this whole time, he doesn't want to call me his girlfriend. I work as a stylist, but I also model on the side just for some money. Well, he hated this. A week into dating or whatever we were, he told me that I needed to quit modeling. If I didn't quit modeling, that meant that I was for the streets. Because, you know, all models are for the streets. Like the idiot I am, I started passing up on jobs. I even passed up on a Sephora campaign. My modeling agency was really upset. In my mind, I thought, you know, if I do what he wants, he'll be a good boyfriend. And maybe we can call each other boyfriend and girlfriend. My mom kept insisting that she wanted to meet him, but he said no. Now, when he told me that he didn't want to meet my mom, trust me, I put my foot down. I told him there was absolutely no way I could be in a relationship with anybody who did not want to meet my family. He told me that I was taking things way too seriously. That's when I threw it in his face that he acts like a jealous boyfriend but still doesn't want to call me his girlfriend. So he explained to me that any girl he talks to has to be only for him. And even if he's not dating you, you still have to be only for him. Then he told me that he was dating 2 other girls. I had a suspicion, but I never thought he would actually admit it to me. I told him that we needed a break and that I didn't want to see him for a few weeks. This made him insanely jealous. He told me that I was a liar and that I was probably hooking up with someone else the whole time I was with him. And yes, I did try to convince him that I wasn't, but he was not having it. I just moved into my new apartment, which I absolutely love. Spent over $3,000 decorating it. I even got CB2 furniture. I made the mistake of giving him a key a few weeks ago. One day I come home from a modeling job and my apartment is completely trashed. I walk into my apartment to find it trashed. At first I thought I had been robbed, but that's when it hit me. It was my ex. The walls in my apartment were smeared with chocolate. There was literally broken glass in the entryway, so I could have stepped in glass. All the mirrors were shattered and broken. My television was on the floor, completely smashed, and there was a hammer right next to my TV. This man took a hammer and smashed my television. He did the same thing to my expensive Vitamix blender. All of my makeup was in the toilet. And yes, there was poo in the toilet too. The sink was full of kitchen condiments where he put all of my expensive perfumes. The bathroom mirror was also smashed. My expensive ass CB2 couch was full of mustard and honey. All of my couch cushions had olive oil on them. I mean, the list goes on and on. I pulled out my phone and started taking picture and video. I called the police and my parents came right away. Of course, I called my ex and told him that I knew it was him and he denied everything. He said, and I quote, "You're crazy," and then hung up. The cop that came to my apartment was super rude. He said that I must have done something really bad in order to deserve this kind of punishment. I filed a police report and they told me that I could sue him. So far, he does not want to pay a single dime. He then admitted to me through text messages that he got the idea from a TikTok video and that some other guy had done this to his ex. So far, I've spent $500 just in cleaning services to clean my apartment. I'm living back with my parents. Luckily, a judge made him pay me $5,000. Still not enough. He's been calling me and begging me to get back with him. What do I freaking do?
Story time on how I beat up my grandma. Yes, my grandma. You heard right. Let's get into it. Okay, so boom. I'm a 16-year-old high school student who finds myself at my grandma's house almost every day. My mom's a single mother and works 2 jobs. And instead of leaving me home alone, she always drops me off at my grandma's house. And this has been our routine ever since I was 5 years old. My mom just felt more comfortable leaving me at my grandma's house. But what my mom didn't know is that I rather stay home alone rather than going to my grandma's house. My grandma has been beating me up ever since I was 5 years old. She didn't beat me up for any valid reasons. She would just be mad at me for the smallest things. Like one time I broke her glass chandelier while I was playing with my ball and she hit me. Another time I broke her 50-inch TV by accident and again she hit me. Y'all wouldn't believe this third reason why she beat me up. Like, my grandma would always beat me up for the smallest things. None of her reasons were valid. She beat me up once for breaking her glass chandelier while I was playing ball. Another time I broke her 50-inch TV screen on accident and she beat me up again. She even would tell me to wash the dishes, and when I would tell her no, because I don't live here, I shouldn't be washing anything, she would once again beat me up for being quote unquote disrespectful. All this hitting throughout the years, and I was just over it, and my mom always siding with my grandma. Well, I'm 16 now and I was over it. My 76-year-old grandma should have learned to keep her hands to herself. So this particular night she told me to study, but I didn't want to study. I wanted to watch TV, so I told her no straight up. And things escalated. My grandma told me to go study and I told her no, I wanted to watch TV. She said she was sick of my slick mouth and made her way over to hit me. But this time, oh no, I wasn't going for it. I pushed her away from me, then I punched her on her arms and her face. She fell down and started screaming in shock that I even hit her. Once my mom came home, my grandma told my mom what happened, and my mom beat the living soul out of me. And my mom told me if I ever raised my hands to my grandma again, she was going to do more than just hit me with a belt. Truth is, my grandma never hit me unless I was rude or broke something, and that happened very often. Come to find out, I actually suffered from aggressive behavior in children and needed to get treated. Thank God I got treated and I'm better now, and me and grandma has a great relationship now. Don't beat up your grandma.
Disclaimer, this is not my story. This happened a few weeks ago. I invited all my friends to dinner at my house to celebrate moving into my new house. And my friend Katie asked if she could bring her boyfriend Dale, so our friend group can finally meet him in person. I said yes. There are two things I have to point out. First, my dining table and chairs are wooden furniture that have been in our family for close to 100 years, and they have a lot of sentimental value to my family. They used to be at my sister's house, but she asked me if I can take them, since her kids used to jump on them during mealtime and she was scared that they would get damaged. I don't have kids and just got a bigger house, so I have space, thus I happily took them. Second, Dale is morbidly obese. He is about 5'5" and weighs more than 300 pounds. Given that, my dining chairs are wooden and old, I didn't want to risk them not being able to hold Dale's weight, so I prepared a different, sturdier chair for him to sit on. I've had overweight people sit on my dining chairs before, but none as obese as Dale. When Katie saw that I was asking Dale to sit on a different chair from everybody else, she got livid and told me that I was embarrassing Dale. I was shocked that she would get upset like that in front of everyone. So I stammered an explanation about how my chairs are old and I wasn't sure that they would hold him. Katie said that I was being fat phobic and that she couldn't be friends with a person like me. They both left immediately while the rest of my friends stayed long enough just to finish their dinner, and we called it an early night. So am I the asshole for embarrassing my friend's obese boyfriend by making him sit on a chair different from everyone else at dinner?
Story time. A very old friend of mine invited me to go hang out. It was last minute, but I was already ready because I was playing with my makeup. So I just got dressed, grabbed my keys, and went outside when he told me he was here. As I was walking to his car, I had music playing on my phone. So before I came inside, he was on the phone with someone and he muted it. And he was telling me, shh, turn music off. And I got into the car and I heard yelling from his phone. And I was just thinking, what the hell is going on? Like, who the hell is he on the phone with? I was thinking maybe his mom. But no, he was on the phone with his girlfriend. And I had no idea he was still in a relationship. And his girlfriend was on the phone screaming and yelling like, what are you hiding from me? What is on your phone? And why are you doing this to me? And she was crying and yelling, and I was just sitting in the front seat like in shock. Go to part 2. This girl was screaming and yelling on the phone. I was just sitting there very quiet because he was telling me not to say anything. I wanted to sneeze so bad, so I told him, I typed it in my notes like, hey, I need to sneeze. So he went to a random parking lot and got out the car. But from what I was hearing on the phone, it looks like he cheated on his girlfriend or he was hiding something. 20 minutes went by while I was sitting in his car by myself. He came inside and showed me 2 pictures of 2 different girls. And he asked me, which one do I pick? So I picked the second picture he showed me. And he said, okay, and left the car. He came back 10 minutes later because his phone died. And he told me, I'm sorry, but I have to take you home. After being there for 30 minutes, I thought that was a perfect idea. As we were riding home, he kept telling himself, I'm so fucking dumb. Why did I do that? And I was asking him, what are you talking about, dude? And he told me, and the guy said, did you hear how she was crying and screaming? And I said, yeah. And he said, I did that. And I was like, yeah, dude, you're an idiot. And he was like, I know I am. And I was telling him, you don't deserve them, dude. You're an idiot. Why would you do that? And on my way home, because he was the one driving me, I was asking him, like, dude, what's going on? He told me that he had 2 girlfriends and that one of his girlfriends looked through his phone and found out. And then that girlfriend told his other girlfriend. So both of them were blowing up his phone. Both of them were calling him, and he only felt horrible because he got caught. And I asked him, if you really liked your first girlfriend, why'd you date the other one? And he responded with, I don't know, she's just cool, man. And I was left in disbelief.
Am I the asshole for creating a fake Tinder profile to catfish my younger sister? My younger sister Layla is 16 years old, and she's super out there. I mean, she's doing tons of illegal things, stealing my parents' cars, and is never home on time for curfew. As her older brother, I feel obligated that I have to look out for her, but I think she's just too far gone at this point. However, when my friend recently said that he came across a profile of hers on Tinder, which is an 18 and up app, I knew that something had to be done. There are tons of creeps on Tinder, and I don't know who she's going to be hanging out with, or if she can even get killed. So I created a fake Tinder profile for a guy who was in his early 20s. I made him super attractive, someone she would never know, literally just a random person off the internet. I made some fake profile about some things that I knew she kind of liked. That way I know they would match. So I then matched with my sister on Tinder, and I started messaging with her, kind of flirting with her a little bit. Not in a weird way, I promise. Also, my parents were fully aware that I was doing this. They were even helping me with some of the texts. After about an hour of talking, I sprung on the question of if she would meet me at a park at around midnight by herself. And she agreed. My parents and I honestly didn't know what to do because this was so unsafe. But I called the friend that originally saw her on Tinder. She had never met him before, so she didn't know what he looked like. And we sent him to the park to go meet her. We told him to kind of take her aggressively and put her in the car, drive around for a few minutes, and then drop her off back home. Which is what he did. When she was dropped off back home about 15 minutes later, she was truly petrified. I mean, sobbing her eyes out, terrified, literally hugged me. And then we took her into the house and explained to her all of the issues and problems that this was going to cause if she continued to talk to older men online, especially meeting up with them alone at night. And she was lucky that we found her first before someone else did. When I explained to her about my fake Tinder profile, she was pissed. I mean, screaming, crying, throwing a full-on tantrum, started throwing things at me, trying to hit me. So am I in the wrong?
Story time. When I was a senior in high school, I was very open to dating. And everyone was pretty normal, except for this one guy. This guy DM'd me on Instagram, and I normally don't DM back to most, but I said why not? I just wanted to be friends and nothing more. But we agreed to hang out. We went downtown to this restaurant and we ordered pizza and some boneless wings. Everything was all right, kept everything friendly, no flirting, no nothing. A week after, I really needed help in my history class, and it was such a coincidence that my new little friend favorite subject was history. So I went over his house and he did all my assignments for me. And I'm running out of time, so we're on to part 2. Story time, part 2. I went to my little friend's house and he did all my homework. After that night, he kept sending me paragraphs, telling me how he felt about me, morning and night. And I was starting to feel some type of way because I was already talking to someone that I wanted to get in a relationship with. So I was trying to find a reason to cut this guy off. He lied about something small and I made it a big deal on purpose so that I can cut him off. The last time I hung out with him when he did all my homework, I told him where I worked at. But I did not give him my address or showed him exactly where. So that day he knew that I was at work and he showed up to my job. But luckily, I have to buzz people in so that they can get inside. I was texting him and I told him, "What are you doing here?" And go to part 3.
Bye.